Well, after discord all weekend long and criticism of Germany, Donald Trump is saying that the relationship is unbelievable with Chancellor Angela Merkel of Germany. But Angela Merkel is saying at this hour the United States is no longer reliable. Is the world stage set for a battle between the U.S. and former friends, European powerhouse Germany? Or will this spat eventually fade away? What does it mean to trade and the products that your company makes and exports? Michael Froman is the former U.S. trade representative. They have different recollections of this meeting now.
Well, that's right. And certainly the message that the Europeans heard was that there was a lot of concern about unfair trade practices by Germany in particular. And here I think the administration has it largely wrong, but there's an element that they should be focusing on. They're wrong in that the trade policies of Germany are the trade policies of Europe. And Europe is a relatively open economy, except with some major exceptions like agriculture. And if we really want to get at those issues, the Trump administration ought to go back to the table and try and negotiate the transatlantic agreement. But the bigger issue is that over the years, Germany has put the brakes on efforts to stimulate the economies in Europe, including in Germany. And if they were actually to use their fiscal policies to expand domestic demand-led growth, it would help some of these imbalances.
Can we agree that Germany is a very strong nation when it comes to things like debt and GDP, stronger than the other neighbors? We agree on that?
Absolutely.
Okay, so then why aren't they paying the full 2% of their GDP that they are supposed to pay for NATO, which is really in place to protect that country and others in the European Union?
Well, we all have a mutual interest in NATO and NATO being strong, and I think that the Trump administration, as the Obama administration was, has been pushing to make sure countries do up their contribution to the national defense and to NATO. But I think the bigger issue is the criticism of Germany's trade policy or its monetary policy, which of course it doesn't have control over. The ECB controls the euro. But where they ought to focus is on encouraging Germany to use the fiscal space that it does have to help encourage more domestic demand rather than export-led growth. And that could lead to more exports to Germany and a better trade balance.
Well, exactly. But you know, the soft touch did not work. 8 years of the cajoling and the we're friends, come on effort did not work. And when things don't work, you don't keep doing them over and over again. I think that's the issue some Americans looked at and said, well, Donald Trump's going to be tougher. You're going to cringe a little bit maybe in the way he does it. But at some point, Germany can afford this. This is like somebody not paying their phone bill, but they go out and they buy a PlayStation.
Well, look, I think there has been progress, and you have seen a higher percentage of Germany's growth come from domestic demand rather than from exports over the last couple of years. But that doesn't mean that there isn't more that can be done. Look, I think the bigger concern is that these relationships, whether it's with Asia or with Europe, they're not like one single real estate transaction. You can't just walk away from a partner. And we need Germany just like we need Japan and Korea and others on a whole range of issues. And so you need to be able to work with them across issues and have a degree of mutual respect. And right now, of course, Chancellor Merkel and others are saying the U.S. can't be relied upon, and that very much undermines the transatlantic relationship.
Well, back channel is the word of the day, but maybe they'll have some back channel communication and smooth things over. We shall see. Michael, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Michael Froman is the former U.S. trade representative.